Hello and welcome to Eat Your Backyard, my YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Also, hit the thumbs up if you like these kinds of videos. In this video, we're going to talk about a very cool type of coconut tree called the Dwarf Malay coconut tree. I happen to have one growing right behind me, and we're going to look at that one very closely. Also, we'll talk about why you want to choose a dwarf coconut tree. There are a lot of good reasons. Okay, let's get right into it. Now, as you can see, I have a number of small fruit trees growing in this northeastern corner of my yard. And this particular area, I have a new mini fruit grove in the process of being matured. And one of the things I wanted was to have a producing coconut tree. And this dwarf green Malay is really, for me, one of the top possible choices I could have. And one of the reasons is simply that they produce fruit really quickly. You could expect to get fruit off of this in roughly 2 years after planting. That's amazing. It's not the same situation with a larger green coconut tree. Another great advantage of this coconut tree is that it has, of course, a height which is much smaller than other coconut trees. So you could expect this particular variety to get about 30 feet tall at its maximum size. That will take a while. The fruit, therefore, will be easier to get to. That can be a real problem with coconut trees, is that the fruit gets so high that it is very difficult to reach without some acrobatic skills. Now, this coconut tree has been planted in this corner here for about a half a year, and almost all the original fronds that came with the tree have now been removed. And the color of the tree, the look of the tree has really dramatically improved. And when you plant palm trees in general, you know, the number one thing I think is that you give them enough nutrients. Each palm tree is different. What I use is rabbit manure. Now, you could also use granular or liquid fertilizer, but you want to feed your coconut tree, especially after you get it in the ground here, a decent amount of nutrients. You know, rabbit manure or an animal manure or a compost are probably the best options for fertilizing these trees. And that's really going to be the next thing, is I'll be piling some compost around these trees. I'm in the process of restoring the soil health, or maybe establishing the soil health would be a better way to put it, in this sandy backyard I have here, living on a barrier island just blocks from the Atlantic Ocean. But you can see this coconut tree doesn't mind it at all. Of course, coconut trees are suited to grow in this type of loose, sandy soil. And I couldn't be more pleased with the way this thing is looking. That color of the leaves is exactly what you want. Now, coconut trees are susceptible to a number of diseases and problems, and you know, that can happen. So don't get too attached. It would be my advice. And also get fruit out of them as soon as possible. Another reason to get fruit out of them as much as possible. Of course, the more nutrients, the stronger the plant is, the more it will be able to resist all forms of disease. But I loved this coconut tree so much, I actually bought 3 more down at a little nursery in Sebastian, Florida. So I'll have more than enough coconuts. In fact, I planted several of them down by the curb on the sidewalk by my front yard, and they're going to look great there as well. Now, if you look at where this is planted, there are power lines right there, right? So I would be really unable to safely plant a coconut tree here of a normal height, but this provides the structure that will actually fit into my backyard life. And you can see it adds to the overall tropical feel of the bananas, the papayas, and Dracaena growing along the fence. Those papaya are starting to get there. We'll have papayas soon. Papaya season is about to begin. Everybody loves papayas, including the worm farm, the chickens, my family. We all love the papayas. coconut tree just fits in perfectly here with the theme. You can see I'm getting away with also growing a few things around the perimeter of the coconut tree. Now I have to do that because I have a very small space, but if you keep up on the trimming, you really can break out of the traditional spacing requirements you might think plants have. Really, it comes down to providing, in my opinion, just adequate sunlight, so you can do that by trimming. And then also the soil health is just so incredibly important. And in order to get the soil health to where you want it to be, where anything will thrive, you're gonna have to feed it. You're gonna have to feed it, you know, animal manure, compost, etc., and get the system kick-started, and water. And my yard is really starting to do that. You see this cherimoya tree is just bursting into fruition here. I sure do love the look of this green Malay coconut. If you have one in your yard, or even a yellow Malay coconut, which is the other variety, please let me know in the comments. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, just remember, anytime you go to Amazon, get there by going to any of the Eat Your Backyard videos and clicking on the links to Amazon there. There are links to all kinds of cuttings and trees and seeds, etc. If you go to Amazon that way, it's like giving Eat Your Backyard a donation, and it helps me to keep uploading, you know, higher and higher quality stuff. So there you go. I hope this simple short video might have motivated you to put a green coconut in your life that is of the dwarf variety. As you can see, it's a thing of beauty, an absolute thing of beauty. Thanks for watching Eat Your Backyard.